Chapter 2430. Lu Feng Trading Company, Lu Feng Yao. Someone greeted Lin Moyu with a smile.
Young friend, come over here, join us. Don't worry, young friend. With us here, those demon brats won't dare to harm you.
It seemed they truly believed Lin Moyu was a genius with a powerful background. The heavenly venerates among the human race were very friendly towards Lin Moyu. After all, those participating in world contests in the World Sea were mostly heavenly venerates. There were almost no supremes like Lin Moyu. This also meant that Lin Moyu indeed had a strong background. Not just anyone could obtain a source realm. The most crucial point was that Lin Moyu could be recommended by the administrator of his own sea area to participate in the World Sea Decree, which could only mean one of two things. First, there were no powerful worlds in that sea area, and Lin Moyu was just lucky. Second, Lin Moyu was indeed very strong, capable of fighting across realms. Although he was only a peak supreme, his strength was comparable to that of a heavenly venerate. Such individuals were rare, but they had appeared on the origin continent before. Many people instinctively felt that Lin Moyu was one of those geniuses with a powerful background and extraordinary strength. Most of the heavenly venerates among the human race were willing to be friendly towards such a genius. However, there were also a few who couldn't stand Lin Moyu out of jealousy. No matter what realm one reached, jealousy always existed. Those who could truly see things clearly were few and far between. Lin Moyu felt various gazes upon him. His extremely powerful spiritual sense allowed him to clearly distinguish the meaning behind each gaze and label each person accordingly. Even if the intentions were good, it was only on the surface. After all, they didn't know each other, which was normal. If they were overly enthusiastic, it would be suspicious. Just like the demon race, some clever demons had already developed a killing intent towards Lin Moyu. They didn't want to see geniuses appearing among the human race, especially those with powerful backgrounds and abundant resources, which made them even more displeased. Their gazes became sharper, as if they could attack Lin Moyu at any moment. Most demons were not good at hiding their emotions, and their killing intent was easily sensed by others. Lin Moyu didn't care about the demon's gazes. He remained calm and composed, walking unhurriedly towards the human side. His behavior made some people even more certain of Lin Moyu's identity. Such demeanor couldn't be faked by an ordinary genius. Although he was a supreme, he was not inferior to a heavenly venerate at all. Lin Moyu approached the group, cupped his fists, and greeted.
Greetings, seniors.
He was polite and showed no arrogance. The heavenly venerates were also courteous in return, not putting on airs. A mid-level heavenly venerate smiled warmly.
May I ask for your esteemed name, young friend?
Lin Moyu did not hide anything.
Junior Lin Moyu.
The surname Lin? The heavenly venerates began to ponder which powerful family or sect on the origin continent had a genius disciple with the surname Lin. The origin continent was vast, filled with countless families and sections. There were many prominent families with the surname Lin. If he was a disciple of a major sect, there were even more possibilities. For a moment, they couldn't associate Lin Moyu with any specific family. However, they didn't press further. Continuing to ask would be impolite. A heavenly venerate suddenly frowned.
Young friend Lin, I observe that your bone age seems to be just over 2,000 years.
As soon as he said this, everyone looked at Lin Moyu. If Lin Moyu was truly just over 2,000 years old, it would be terrifying. Lin Moyu had long forgotten his exact age. Time seemed to have lost its meaning. Since pacifying the great world and defeating the battle realm, he had spent most of his time in the World Sea. Although nearly 100,000 years had passed in the great world, it had only been a few years for him. Roughly estimating, he was probably not even 2,000 years old. Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
Senior, you have keen eyes.
This was an admission, and everyone gasped. Regardless of his background, Lin Moyu's reputation as a super genius was now solidified.
Indeed, a top-tier genius. A peak supreme at just over 2,000 years old. How many such geniuses have there been on the origin continent throughout history? When I was 2,000 years old, I had just reached Saint Venerate, still far from supreme. Reaching Saint Venerate at 2,000 years old is already an incredible achievement. Most people only reach the other shore at that age.
The heavenly venerates of the human race discussed among themselves, some with envy, some with admiration, and some with jealousy.
I am Yin Hongshin, an elder of the Nine Heavens Tower. If you have time, young friend, you are welcome to visit the Nine Heavens Tower. I am Wuyu from the Liang sect. I am Yang Ming from the Star Pavilion. You are welcome to visit any time.
Many heavenly venerates expressed goodwill towards Lin Moyu. Even if they couldn't befriend such a top-tier genius, they at least didn't want to offend him. At 2,000 years old, he had reached peak supreme. In a few thousand years, he might become a peak heavenly venerate. Becoming a Tao venerate in the future was almost a certainty. At this moment, a fragrant breeze wafted over, and a graceful woman approached Lin Moyu. She was extremely beautiful, elegant yet not overly seductive, exuding a mature charm while retaining a youthful brightness. Lin Moyu respectfully stood up. This was a high-level heavenly venerate. Among the many heavenly venerates, high-level ones were few, and female heavenly venerates were even rarer. The woman smiled gently at Lin Moyu.
Greetings, young friend Lin. I am Lu Feng Yao of the Lu Feng Trading Company. If you ever need anything from the Lu Feng Trading Company, feel free to contact me.
Lu Feng Yao smiled warmly, elegant yet charming, as she handed a jade token to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had heard from Shueji Heavenly Venerate that there was a powerful force called the Lu Feng Trading Company on the Origin Continent. If he wanted to buy anything, he could go to them. The Lu Feng Trading Company was a very powerful force on the Origin Continent, stronger than most families and sects. He didn't expect to meet someone from the Lu Feng Trading Company here. Lin Moyu accepted the jade token.
Thank you, Senior Lu. If I need anything, I will seek your help.
Lu Feng Yao laughed softly.
I hope to be of assistance to you in the future.
She walked away gracefully, without any pretense, the entire process natural and unforced. She didn't need to curry favor. With the strength of the Lu Feng Trading Company, they were already more powerful than most sects and families. When she mentioned her name, many heavenly venerates showed expressions of surprise. Clearly, Lu Feng Yao was well known, and many heavenly venerates recognized her. Lin Moyu sensed that the killing intent from the demon race had intensified. Their conversation had evidently been overheard by the demons, whose killing intent was blatant and undisguised. Lin Moyu remained vigilant. After all, those were heavenly venerates, and he had to be cautious. The teleportation continued, and the numbers of both the demon race and the human race kept increasing. Lin Moyu thought to himself,
It seems the Origin Continent is primarily dominated by these two races.
In just half a day, the numbers of the demon race and the human race had exceeded 10,000, but no other races were seen. Finally, after half a day, a peculiar aura accompanied the teleportation. Lin Moyu was slightly startled.
It's the aura of the dragon race.
In the next second, a dragon's roar echoed across the plaza, and a heavenly venerate-level divine dragon appeared. Following the dragon's roar, several more divine dragons appeared. The dragon race quickly gathered together. Although there were only 10 divine dragons, their presence was not inferior to that of the demon race and the human race. The dragon race's combat power was unrivaled within the same realm. They could fight across realms, and it was common for a low-level heavenly venerate dragon to defeat a mid-level heavenly venerate. No one was surprised by the appearance of the dragon race. It seemed they had expected it. Immediately after, a sharp cry echoed across the plaza, causing everyone to frown. Lin Moyu was shocked.
The insect race, they came too.
2431, 2431. Chapter 2431. The 7 major races of the Origin Continent. The 10 divine dragons raised their scales in alarm, watching vigilantly ahead. A giant insect hive over 1,000 meters tall appeared on the plaza, occupying a large area. The hive was like a honeycomb, with countless insects ready to burst out at any moment. Lin Moyu frowned.
Insect Mother, A heavenly venerate level insect mother.
Lin Moyu had seen similar insect races before, which the dragon race called insect mothers. Each insect mother was an independent army, able to produce countless insect warriors. The insect warriors produced by an insect mother were only one realm lower than itself. This insect mother before them was a mid-level heavenly venerate, capable of producing countless mid-level supreme insect warriors. Although supremes weren't much, facing an endless horde of mid-level supremes would give even a heavenly venerate a headache. The dragon race and insect race were mortal enemies. As soon as the insect race appeared, the divine dragons stared at them intently, as if ready to attack at any moment. The insect mother also stared at the dragon race, continuously emitting sharp, unpleasant roars. The hive-like nest began to open, with insect warriors inside ready to rush out at any time. Lin Moyu knew that if it weren't for the World Sea Decree, if this wasn't the territory of the World Sea King, they would have already started fighting.
How did the insect race come here too? The insect race rarely comes to the World Sea to participate in world contests. This is really rare. The sea area where the insect race is located is really unlucky. Encountering them, it's good if you can keep your life. Indeed, the insect race is cruel. They destroy all worlds they encounter, leaving no living beings behind, even killing the world masters. Not just that, in the sea area where the insect race is located, even the world sea creatures can't survive. Probably only the sea area administrator can stay alive.
In the words of the heavenly venerates, the insect race meant destruction and death. Wherever the insect race passed, nothing could grow, and all life was exterminated. Space distorted again, and a second insect mother appeared, followed by a third, a fourth. A total of 5 insect mothers came, including 4 mid-level heavenly venerates and 1 high-level heavenly venerate. A high-level heavenly venerate could produce high-level supreme insect warriors in almost endless numbers. Combined with the insect mother's main body, even other high-level heavenly venerates would have to retreat when faced with this. After the insect race arrived, the teleportation didn't stop. A large tree appeared on the plaza, towering several thousand meters high, covered in thick vines that almost touched the top of the plaza. After appearing, the tree rapidly shrank until it was only 10 meters tall. Then various flowers and plants appeared, all with different forms, but all were plants. A heavenly venerate among the humans said,
"The 100 Grass Alliance has arrived too. Now everyone is here. There used to be a Buddhist race, but unfortunately, they brought about their own destruction. The World Sea has nothing to do with them now. Indeed, those Buddhist fellows really went crazy. I really don't know what they were thinking. Those people were never normal to begin with."
Listening to the discussions of the heavenly venerates, Lin Moyu learned that these plant-based heavenly venerates belonged to a force called the 100 Grass Alliance. Although not considered very strong, they weren't weak either. Besides them, there was also the Buddhist race. However, due to certain reasons, the Buddhist race could no longer enter the World Sea or participate in world contests, so they couldn't come here.
Human race, demon race, dragon race, insect race, 100 Grass Alliance sea race, plus the Buddhist race. A total of 7 major races, along with some miscellaneous small races. This should be the structure of the origin continent. Among the 7 races, the dragon race and insect race are mortal enemies. They will try to kill each other at any opportunity. The human race and demon race are hostile, but not mortal enemies. They won't fight to the death as soon as they meet. Like the human race, the demon race is not completely united internally and has its own conflicts and contradictions. I'm not very clear about the 100 Grass Alliance and sea race. The insect race should be united internally, while the dragon race also has internal conflicts. It seems that neither the human race nor the demon race has hostility towards the dragon race and 100 Grass Alliance. The Buddhist race is a system of its own, and I don't know about their internal situation.
Lin Moyu quickly analyzed the situation of each race. What he found most interesting was that in his own great world, It seemed all 7 major races of the origin continent could be found. He wondered how the great world had evolved in such a way. It was truly miraculous. The 100 Grass Alliance was the last to arrive, and after that, no one else came. One day later, the stone pillars on the plaza lit up with various colors of light, then shot up 10,000 zhong into the sky, illuminating the entire plaza in a dazzling display. Amidst the myriad colors of light, a black shadow slowly emerged. An immense pressure swept across the entire area. Lin Moyu felt himself suddenly sink.
What powerful pressure!
Lin Moyu had seen the Tao Venerate of the 7-colored sect before. When Wei Xian Tao Venerate used time reversal, he had unleashed powerful energy. But the pressure at that time was far inferior to what he felt now. The difference between the two was vast and incomparable. From this, it was clear that even among Tao Venerates there were huge differences. Lin Moyu looked at the black shadow.
Is this the king of the world, see?
After the black shadow appeared, all the light gathered towards it, finally forming a colorful ethereal image. The ethereal image gradually became solid, eventually transforming to look exactly like a human.
Is the world sea king human?
Lin Moyu immediately rejected this idea. His intuition told him it wasn't so. He noticed that whether it was the demon race, dragon race, or even the insect race, when they looked at the ethereal image, they all seemed to see it as an elder of their own race with a hint of admiration. Lin Moyu immediately realized that this ethereal image was unusual. Everyone saw a different image. When humans looked at it, it appeared human. When the demon race looked at it, it appeared as a demon, and when the dragon race looked at it, it became a divine dragon. No matter which race looked at it, what they saw was the appearance of their own race. Instinctively, they would regard it as an elder of their own race. Lin Moyu instantly understood all this, his gaze becoming clear.
Truly powerful indeed.
At the same time, his gaze swept through the crowd, wanting to see if anyone else was unaffected. Suddenly, a pleasant voice sounded in his ear.
Young friend, you are indeed extraordinary to be able to see through the essence.
Lin Moyu found Lu Fengyao among the humans. Their gazes met in the air, and Lu Fengyao smiled at him. Like himself, Lu Fengyao's gaze remained clear, unaffected by the colorful light. Not just her, but the other high-level heavenly venerates were also the same. High-level heavenly venerates were indeed different from mid-level ones. Many mid-level heavenly venerates were affected. The World Sea King's deep voice rang out.
For this World Sea decree, you will all go to a special space. Your task is to go to the depths of this special space and bring back some special fish bones. The more special fish bones you bring back, the richer the rewards will be. That special space is dangerous. Please be careful. If there's danger, you can activate the World Sea Decree, which will protect your safety. Once the World Sea Decree is activated, you will lose the qualification for this exploration.
As he spoke, the colors in the void intertwined to form the shapes of various fish bones. These fish bones were strange and varied, with all kinds of shapes. However, they had one thing in common. There was a peculiar pattern drawn on the fish bones. Lin Moyu memorized this pattern firmly. This World Sea Decree was just an exploration mission. The task seemed simple, but Lin Moyu felt it wouldn't be that easy. Someone asked,
Respected World Sea King, besides the fish bones, what else is in that special space?
2432 Chapter 2432. Play this game slowly. Light and shadows intertwined, and the voice of the King of the World Sea resounded again.
There are many things in the special space. It is said that there might even be high-grade origin there. Whether you can obtain it depends on your luck.
Luck? Lin Moyu understood in his heart that it probably depended on strength. That special space would definitely not be safe. Lin Moyu suddenly asked,
May I ask if there are high-grade spiritual materials inside?
The shadow looked over, its gaze seemingly substantial as it fell on Lin Moyu. It seemed very interested in Lin Moyu, looking at him for a while before slowly saying,
High-grade spiritual materials, there might be some.
Lin Moyu asked again.
Besides the fish bones, how will other things we obtain be accounted for?
This was a question many people wanted to ask. The king of the world sea replied,
Besides the fish bones, all other gains can be handled by yourselves. I will not interfere.
Everyone showed joy on their faces. Besides the fish bones, all other gains could be kept for themselves. If they were lucky, they might obtain many good things. If they got a piece of high-grade origin, they would be rich. Moreover, obtaining the fish bones could also be exchanged for rewards from the king of the world sea. Many people showed excitement and began to get a bit enthusiastic. People die for wealth just as birds die for food. Lin Moyu remained calm in his heart.
There is another meaning in his words. He doesn't care about other things, not even high-grade origin. But if someone obtains the fish bones and doesn't hand them over, he will kill them. What is the origin of these fish bones that makes them more important than high-grade origin? These people are too excited. They must be influenced by the king of the world sea, their emotions stirred up, losing their usual calmness. This is the method of the king of the world sea? Influencing the emotions of heavenly venerates without them realizing it.
At this moment, Lu Fengyao's voice sounded in his ear again.
That world should be very dangerous. Young friend Lin, be careful. If there is danger, you can use the jade token to call for help. I will come as quickly as possible.
Lu Fengyao was showing goodwill. She thought that although Lin Moyu was a genius, he was still just a peak supreme, and no matter how talented, his strength was limited. If there was danger and she could help, she could form a good relationship. In fact, this was also a gamble, betting on Lin Moyu's background and future. Lin Moyu understood Lu Fengyao's thoughts and smiled.
Thank you, Senior Lu. I will be careful.
At this moment, a sharp voice rang out.
Respected King, can we kill in there?
The king of the world sea quickly responded.
Yes.
This answer made some people with ulterior motives develop other thoughts. Killing was allowed there. If the dragon race and insect race encountered each other, it would be a fight to the death. Some members of the demon race set their sights on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu immediately felt several gazes filled with killing intent, naked and undisguised. Lin Moyu did not respond to this. If they really encountered each other, it would be their bad luck. What surprised Lin Moyu the most was that some of the killing intent came from the human race. Someone in the human race wanted to kill him. Lin Moyu found it somewhat amusing. The internal complexity of the human race was indeed beyond imagination. The most troublesome part was that one of the faint killing intents came from a high-level heavenly venerate. That high-level heavenly venerate had previously smiled at him, looking like a kind elder watching a younger generation. But secretly, there was killing intent spreading.
Come on. It's not that easy to kill me. Even if you are a high-level heavenly venerate, I'll make you shed a layer of skin.
Lin Moyu steeled his heart. Whoever wanted to kill him had to be prepared to be counterkilled. Moments later, the king of the world sea asked in a deep voice,
Any more questions?
No one asked any more questions, so the king of the world sea continued.
Good, please get ready.
The plaza roared, and the glow enveloped the plaza, turning it into a ball of light that quickly sank. The sinking speed of the plaza was very fast, crossing a long distance in the blink of an eye. Lin Moyu felt the changes in the world sea.
We've already gone beyond 500,000 meters. Where is that special space?
The space below 500,000 meters in the world sea was a place even heavenly venerates dared not enter. But now they were going in openly and grandly. Vaguely, Lin Moyu sensed a giant creature outside the plaza, sinking together with it. Although he couldn't see the creature's appearance clearly, Lin Moyu guessed one possibility. This creature was sent by the king of the world sea to protect them. It was even possible that this creature was the king of the world sea himself. With it escorting them, the plaza encountered no danger. Finally, the plaza stopped deep in the world sea. By now, they had descended an unknown distance. Lin Moyu estimated it to be over 1,000,000 meters. The colorful glow changed above the plaza, and the space became distorted. A special passage appeared in the air, leading to the special space mentioned by the King of the World Sea. The voice of the King of the World Sea sounded.
Everyone, please set off immediately.
Without hesitation, countless people flew up simultaneously, rushing into the passage. Lin Moyu also slowly rose, following the crowd. At this moment, Lu Fengyao's voice sounded in his ear again.
Young friend Lin, be careful. The demon race wants to kill you.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
I know.
Not only did the demon race want to kill him, but there were also a few people in the human race who wanted to kill him. Just before entering the passage, Lin Moyu suddenly felt several marks appear on his body. A smile appeared on his lips. He hadn't gone looking for them, but they had come to him. Leaving marks meant they could find him. And through these marks he could judge the strength of the opponents.
A total of 382 marks. Quite a few people want to kill me. But why are you joining in the fun?
Among the 382 marks, one came from that high-level heavenly venerate in the human race. His marking technique was very secretive. If Lin Moyu's spiritual sense hadn't been strong enough, he might not have sensed it. Lin Moyu pretended not to notice and followed the group into the special space. His vision blurred, and Lin Moyu experienced a teleportation. During this teleportation, even heavenly venerates would lose their sense of direction and could only follow the teleportation. Lin Moyu could roughly sense the direction of the teleportation through the law of space. He would be sent to another world, and the location was not fixed. It was imaginable that most people would scatter. But one thing was the same. Everyone would only reach the edge of the special space. To find the fish bones, they would have to go deeper.
What kind of special space is this? Why doesn't the King of the World Sea come himself but sends us heavenly venerates instead? If there are restrictions, there are so many heavenly venerates in the World Sea. Why not send them?
Lin Moyu pondered these questions while igniting the world-burning fire. Many marks were erased. Lin Moyu wasn't foolish. With so many people marking him, how could he fight them all? Of course, he didn't erase all the marks. He left 5 marks. All 5 marks came from low-level heavenly venerates of the demon race. He left their marks to let them find him so he could kill them in return. Since they wanted to kill him, they had to pay the price. Lin Moyu's eyes revealed a dangerous glint.
No rush. I'll play this game with you slowly.
2433 2433. Chapter 2433. Can you tell me why? As his vision cleared, a group of people had entered the special space. Several members of the demon race immediately sensed that the marks they had left on Lin Moyu had disappeared. They didn't know that Lin Moyu had removed the marks. In their view, a mere supreme like Lin Moyu wouldn't even be able to detect the marks, let alone remove them. They assumed it was an issue with the teleportation or the special space that caused the marks to disappear.
You're lucky. Don't let me catch you. If I catch you, I'll eat you alive.
Some demons gritted their teeth, cursing Lin Moyu in their hearts. However, a few demon heavenly venerates noticed that the marks they had left on Lin Moyu were still there and immediately flew towards his direction. They wore cruel smiles, already imagining the scene of torturing Lin Moyu to death. In another part of the special space, a high-level supreme from the human race had a slightly gloomy expression.
The mark disappeared. It seems this kid is quite lucky. Is it because of this space? Hope you can survive. Don't let me catch you alone.
He didn't believe Lin Moyu had the ability to remove the mark he left and also attributed it to the special space. He began to survey the special space, looking for a direction. Lin Moyu was also surveying the special space. His intuition told him that this space was not safe.
The King of the World Sea calls it a special space. What exactly is special about it? There are mountains and water here. It looks no different from an ordinary world.
Lin Moyu stood on a high mountain, gazing into the distance. He didn't fly up. Being new to this place, it was better to be cautious. Who knew what might happen if he flew up? It was better to be safe. With his extensive experience in exploring various secret realms, Lin Moyu had developed a keen sense for danger. In the distance, the sky seemed to have a huge tear, with a waterfall pouring down, hitting the ground. Lin Moyu could vaguely see what seemed to be a lake on the ground.
This space is leaking.
Lin Moyu thought to himself. This reminded him of the past great world, which had many gaps where the waters of the world sea would pour in. The scene was somewhat similar to what he was seeing now. Combining this with the location of this space, Lin Moyu felt his guess was probably correct. This space, like the past great world, had gaps, allowing the waters of the world sea to pour in. And with the waters of the world sea, there might also be creatures from the world sea entering. Given that this place was deep within the world sea, the creatures here would be extremely powerful, likely at the heavenly venerate level.
I don't know how many years these gaps have existed, nor how many creatures from the world sea have entered. Where they went is also unknown. But this alone doesn't make it special. There must be other reasons. What exactly are they?
Lin Moyu stood still like a statue, using his intuition to sense his surroundings. He didn't even use the eye of the undead. He had suffered losses in the rule world of the great strength heavenly venerate before. Although he wasn't afraid of heavenly venerates now, it was better to be cautious. Under his intuition, he didn't sense any major issues. Lin Moyu's mind moved, and the Lich in Brocade appeared beside him. The Lich in Brocade activated its stealth ability and disappeared without a trace, flying forward. The Lich in Brocade continuously transmitted what it saw and felt back to Lin Moyu, giving him a sense of being there himself.
The space here is very solid and cannot be broken through. The space gate is temporarily restricted, making teleportation more difficult and slower than usual. Power is also somewhat suppressed, but fortunately it's not too severe. At least 70% of normal power remains.
Lin Moyu could feel that this suppression came from the inherent rules of this space. These rules were very advanced. Although he was affected, he couldn't detect them without taking action.
Let's try the power of time and space.
Lin Moyu's mind moved, and the power of time and space flowed through him, causing the space to slowly distort and fold. The entire process was very slow. Although the power of time and space could still be used, it was greatly affected. Finally, Lin Moyu entered another layer of time and space. It looked like he was still in the same place, but he was actually in a different time and space.
The power of time and space can still be used. That's good news.
Being able to use the power of time and space was good news for Lin Moyu. The Lich in Brocade's speed was suppressed, and it took some time to reach the waterfall. Through the Lich in Brocade's vision, Lin Moyu saw a lake. There was indeed a lake, but it was different from what he had imagined. The lake was actually suspended in mid-air, forming a hemispherical water mass. Around the lake, water continuously overflowed, falling into a bottomless pit.
What a peculiar sight!
Lin Moyu thought to himself. He had the Lich in Brocade follow the overflowing water into the bottomless pit. The Lich in Brocade immediately flew downwards, and the vision became increasingly dark. The Lich in Brocade didn't mind the darkness and could see clearly even without light. Shortly after entering the pit, a faint light appeared ahead. Little blue-green glowing lights flew up from the pit, dancing like small insects. But in the next second, Lin Moyu's expression changed drastically. These glowing lights flew straight towards the Lich in Brocade, having detected it. As they got closer, Lin Moyu saw clearly that these glowing lights were not like small insects. They were the insects themselves emitting the light. Without thinking, the Lich in Brocade immediately retreated at high speed. But the insects were faster, catching up in the blink of an eye. One insect landed on the Lich in Brocade and exploded. The massive impact blasted the Lich in Brocade away. The Great Tao protection activated automatically, shielding the Lich in Brocade from the blow. But it was still severely injured, with half its body destroyed.
What great power!
Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed. The explosive force penetrated the Great Tao protection and still managed to severely injure the Lich in Brocade. The power of this explosion had reached the level of a mid-level heavenly venerate. Such an unremarkable little insect could unleash an attack equivalent to a mid-level heavenly venerate, which was truly shocking. Unfortunately, their attack method was self-destruction. After self-destructing, not even a trace of their bodies was left. Otherwise, Lin Moyu would have wanted to collect some and turn them into revived ones. Then he could use them to blow up anyone he didn't like. The Lich in Brocade was severely injured but managed to escape due to the explosion's force. Lin Moyu immediately recalled the Lich in Brocade. The insects lost their target and flew around randomly for a while before disappearing. Lin Moyu finally realized the danger of this world. If even a small insect was like this, there must be more dangers elsewhere. Just as he was about to try again, he suddenly looked to his left. A lizard-like demon was rapidly approaching.
That was fast.
Lin Moyu sensed the aura of the approaching demon, matching one of the marks he had deliberately left. It was a low-level heavenly venerate from the lizard branch of the demon race. The lizard branch hated humans and often clashed with them. Among the many demons, this one had shown the most hostility towards him. Unfortunately, it was just a low-level heavenly venerate. Coming here was just delivering itself to him. Lin Moyu was curious. The demon had flown all the way here without encountering any danger. It seemed to have good luck. But now its luck was about to run out. The lizard heavenly venerate stopped 1,000 meters away from Lin Moyu, a cold smile on its face. Its long, thin tongue flicked in and out.
I've heard that the blood of human geniuses is delicious. Today, I can have a good taste.
Seeing no trace of fear on Lin Moyu's face, the lizard heavenly venerate was displeased.
Boy, aren't you afraid of death?
Lin Moyu shook his head lightly.
I find it strange. You demons hate humans, yet you take on human forms. Can you tell me why?
2434 2434. Chapter 2434. The segmented space. The lizard heavenly venerate tilted his head, looking at Lin Moyu as if he were an idiot. Lin Moyu immediately realized he had asked the wrong question. The question he asked was probably common knowledge on the origin continent, something everyone knew. Otherwise, the lizard heavenly venerate wouldn't have shown such an expression. Anyone who could become a heavenly venerate wouldn't be a fool, and the lizard heavenly venerate was no exception. Suddenly, the lizard heavenly venerate seemed to realize something and shouted loudly,
I get it now. You have no background at all, and you're not some genius. You're just...
Lin Moyu suddenly interrupted him. The bone hell appeared and enveloped the lizard heavenly venerate. Countless hellish spirits flew out, surrounding the lizard heavenly venerate. The eye of the undead in the sky gazed down, and waves of terrifying soul impacts bombarded the lizard heavenly venerate. The lizard heavenly venerate let out a miserable scream as his soul was impacted. Even as a heavenly venerate, he felt intense pain. A brilliant light erupted from his body, and a piece of armor automatically appeared, its immense power scattering all the hellish spirits. Naturally, a heavenly venerate couldn't be trapped by the bone hell. Lin Moyu never intended to trap him. He just wanted to buy a little time, even if it was just 1 or 2 seconds. The undying flame burned fiercely, and 100 skeleton kings flew out in response, charging into the bone hell to replace the hellish spirits, instantly completing the encirclement of the lizard heavenly venerate. By the time the lizard heavenly venerate recovered from the soul impact, all he could see were skeleton kings. The skeleton kings didn't give him any chance to react, simultaneously raising their bone swords. The rule world appeared, filled with white bones and boiling laws. In the rule world, the white bones transformed into countless sharp swords, which, along with the bone swords of the skeleton kings, struck the lizard heavenly venerate. Spell: White Bone God Slash. The white bone rules attacked the soul, while the skeleton king's swords destroyed the body. 100 skeleton kings struck simultaneously, and the lizard heavenly venerate didn't even have time to groan before exploding on the spot. Lin Moyu frowned.
Not dead?
He felt the lizard heavenly venerate's aura disappear for a moment, then reappear. A A beam of light suddenly shot out, piercing through the encirclement of the skeleton kings and flying hundreds of miles away, revealing the lizard Heavenly Venerate's figure. At the place where the lizard Heavenly Venerate had originally died, there was something resembling a substitute puppet, already shattered. This treasure had saved the lizard Heavenly Venerate's life once. The escaped lizard Heavenly Venerate looked panicked and terrified. He didn't dare look back and flew away into the distance. If it weren't for the restrictions of this space, the lizard Heavenly Venerate might have escaped even further. Lin Moyu sneered.
You can't escape.
With a snap of his fingers, another 100 skeleton kings appeared. The skeleton kings simultaneously swung their bone swords, slashing out again. The lizard Heavenly Venerate had been marked by the bone hell. It didn't matter if he escaped hundreds or thousands of miles. It was useless. The lizard Heavenly Venerate felt death approaching and immediately took out the World Seed Decree, trying to activate it, but he was a step too late. The white sword light shone again on the lizard Heavenly Venerate, and his expression turned pale as his consciousness plunged into endless darkness. His body and soul exploded simultaneously, turning into ashes. The skeleton kings flew over and brought back some remaining fragments of flesh. The World Seed Decree disappeared when he died, its whereabouts unknown.
Fortunately, there's still some flesh left. Better than nothing.
Lin Moyu chuckled inwardly and waved his hand, collecting the skeleton kings. Then Kajun appeared beside him, and Lin Moyu realized he still didn't understand the origin continent well enough. Some questions could be asked of Kajun, who would surely know.
Tell me, why do those demons take human form?
As a revived one, Kajun answered without hesitation.
Because the human race has the Tao body. Demons who want to walk the great Tao must eventually take human form. The higher their realm, the more perfect their human form becomes. Demons above the Tao Venerate level are almost indistinguishable from ordinary humans.
Lin Moyu continued to ask.
What about the dragon race and the insect race?
Kiyun replied.
The dragon race also has the Tao body, so they don't need to take human form. However, some dragons do take human form to travel in human territories. As for the insect race, I don't know.
This question was indeed common knowledge, known to almost all cultivators on the origin continent. No wonder the lizard Heavenly Venerate had realized something was off. Lin Moyu thought he should have Kajun explain all the common knowledge to him. Following Lin Moyu's instructions, Kajun quickly explained some common knowledge. Unfortunately, as a revived one, Kajun's memory was incomplete, and some memories were lost. While Kajun was explaining, Lin Moyu sent out a batch of skeleton generals to begin exploring the special space. He himself remained in place, not in a hurry. After all, the king of the world sea hadn't specified a time limit. Moreover, the king had only mentioned that the special fish bones were in the depths of this space, without specifying a location. Without knowing whether this space was round or flat, it was impossible to determine what
depths
meant. If this space was round, the waterfall he had seen earlier might lead directly to the depths, and he would need to find a way to enter the pit. If it was flat, he would need to find the correct direction. There was also the possibility that this world was irregular, which would be troublesome. The skeleton generals flew in all directions, and Lin Moyu believed he would soon get an answer. This world was vast. Even after flying for a while, the skeleton generals found nothing. There were many mountains and rivers, lush green trees in the mountains, and moss and other plants in the water, making the world seem full of life. After flying far away, the skeleton generals activated their undead vision, but there wasn't a single soul fire in sight. With over 10,000 people entering, the fact that the skeleton generals hadn't encountered anyone yet indicated the vastness of this world. The people who entered were scattered everywhere. The lizard Heavenly Venerate finding Lin Moyu so quickly was just good luck. Suddenly, a skeleton general crashed into an invisible wall and was forcefully bounced back. Lin Moyu immediately connected his vision and saw nothing through the undead vision of the skeleton general. Returning to the place where it had been bounced back, the skeleton general encountered an invisible barrier. Soon, more skeleton generals encountered invisible barriers and were bounced back. As more skeleton generals encountered barriers, Lin Moyu finally understood the size and shape of the area he was in. It was as if he had entered a dome, and the shape of the dome was irregular, with edges and corners. The approximate diameter was several million miles. Compared to the vastness of the great world, which spanned billions of miles and hundreds of thousands of light-years, this was relatively small. However, given the suppressed speed and difficulty in using space laws here, a range of several million miles wasn't small. Lin Moyu fell into deep thought.
This special space can't be just this small. If this special space is divided into countless areas of varying sizes and shapes, it would make sense. I've seen similar environments before. One of the inheritances left by the Saint Rune Heavenly Venerate was in a similar situation. From what I can see now, I must go through that big pit to enter other areas.
Lin Moyu sent out more skeleton generals to continue the search, while he himself flew towards the waterfall. In the space he was currently in, apart from the waterfall leaking from the sky, there was nothing unusual. If his guess was correct, the people who entered were divided into different areas. Some might be in the same area like himself and the lizard Heavenly Venerate, but most were likely separated. As he got closer to the waterfall, Lin Moyu felt the strong aura of the World Sea. The aura of the World Sea emanated from the waterfall but was confined to a certain range by a mysterious force. After a careful search, Lin Moyu was 90% sure that the waterfall was the key to leaving this space. 2435, 2435. Chapter 2435. Two paths, both difficult. Standing in front of the waterfall, looking at the bottomless pit, Lin Moyu did not immediately enter. The skeleton generals were still searching, and Lin Moyu wanted to make a final confirmation if there were any other paths besides the one in front of him. The pit was not safe, and if possible, he didn't want to go in. Earlier, the brocade lich had nearly been killed. Those little insects in the pit were terrifying. The skeleton generals searched every corner thoroughly, entering deep mountains and old forests, diving into lakes, digging 3 feet into the ground, but found nothing.
It seems there's only this one path left. The insects in the pit are not easy to deal with, but we have to try.
Lin Moyu's mind moved, and a batch of skeleton generals charged into the pit. As they went deeper, the pit became darker and darker until all light disappeared. Soon, tiny blue-green glowing lights appeared. Lin Moyu frowned slightly.
Not living beings?
The eye of the undead remained open, and in its view, these little insects had no soul fire. Having no soul fire meant these insects were not living beings. If they weren't living beings, then what were they? A skeleton general swung its sword, unleashing white bone sword energy that illuminated the pit. For a moment, the pit seemed to become a world of white bones. The sword energy engulfed the little insects, but contrary to Lin Moyu's expectations, it didn't cause an explosion. The little insects ignored the sword energy, passing through it with their unique blue-green glow, and landed directly on the skeleton general. Boom! An explosion sounded, and the skeleton general was instantly shattered. The number of insects was astonishing. They passed through the sword energy at incredible speed, quickly finding their targets. Explosions continued non-stop, and countless skeleton generals were blown to pieces. Although the explosive power was strong, it was extremely concentrated. One insect was just enough to kill one skeleton general, very precise. The undying undead ability took effect, and the skeleton generals quickly revived and regenerated. Lin Moyu was grateful that he had upgraded the undying undead to the origin level, allowing it to still function after leaving the great world.
The sword energy actually had no effect. These insects have no souls and ignore sword energy. What exactly are they?
Lin Moyu summoned more skeleton generals to replace the previous batch and continue deeper. They had barely advanced when another batch of insects flew out, ignoring the sword energy and landing accurately on each skeleton general. Amidst the explosions, the skeleton generals were once again shattered, then quickly revived. The undying undead could revive skeleton generals 6 times within 60 seconds. As long as the timing was right, these skeleton generals wouldn't truly die. Lin Moyu divided the skeleton generals into 6 groups, alternating them to explore deeper. This way, he could ensure the skeleton generals wouldn't truly die. For now, he couldn't find a way to deal with the insects, so he could only use this suicidal method to explore. As they went deeper, there were more and more insects, seemingly endless. Moreover, the frequency and number of insects appearing increased, and even using 6 groups of skeleton generals in rotation was barely enough. Lin Moyu frowned deeply, pondering a solution.
This method of mine is definitely not right. If it were someone else, they wouldn't be able to pass through this passage at all. Even a high-level heavenly venerate probably couldn't do it. There must be another way.
But in the pit, besides the insects, there was only the world sea waterfall pouring down from above. Lin Moyu suddenly realized that these insects indeed never entered the waterfall.
Could it be that the waterfall is the correct path?
Lin Moyu thought to himself. He had considered this before, but when approaching the waterfall, he had felt a sense of unease. Now he tried sending skeleton generals into the waterfall. The moment they entered the waterfall, Lin Moyu lost control of the skeleton generals. The waterfall contained immense power, directly sweeping the skeleton generals towards the deepest part. At the same time, waves of enormous force struck the skeleton generals like heavy hammers. The skeleton generals only lasted a few seconds before being shattered on the spot. The damage from the world sea ignored Lin Moyu's innate ability to connect, and all the damage was borne by this single skeleton general. Not only was the innate ability blocked, even the undying undead lost its effect. When the skeleton general shattered, it was truly dead. Lin Moyu immediately sensed that the number of skeleton generals had decreased by 1.
The world sea water here comes from below 500,000 meters, possibly even reaching 1,000,000 meters. The deeper in the world sea, the stronger the power it contains. The impact force has already exceeded the limit that a supreme can withstand. Even low-level heavenly venerates probably couldn't last long. If the waterfall is the correct path, then this path is equally dangerous. Or perhaps both paths are correct, just with different approaches.
Lin Moyu had a guess in his heart, feeling that both paths were actually correct. Going through the pit meant finding a way to deal with the insects, while going through the waterfall meant being able to withstand its impact force, and it was unknown how long this impact force would last. There were 2 choices, and everyone could choose based on their own situation. The only common point was that neither path was easy. After careful consideration, Lin Moyu decided to choose the path through the pit. Compared to the waterfall, this path was more suitable for him. Moreover, Lin Moyu was very curious about the origin of these insects. The skeleton generals continued to advance in batches. Although the speed was not fast, they were still making progress. When 6 batches weren't enough, they could be divided into 12 batches, 24 batches. There were plenty of skeleton generals, so there was no fear of running out of rotations. Lin Moyu also followed the team into the pit, gradually going deeper. After advancing an unknown distance, the number of insects continued to increase. Now the skeleton generals were divided into 24 batches, encountering a batch of insects almost every 2 or 3 seconds. Amidst the continuous explosions, a slight smile appeared at the corners of Lin Moyu's mouth. He had finally figured out how to break through this situation. Deep in the world sea, a plaza was glowing brightly. The formation in the plaza kept the world sea water out. Outside the plaza, there was a huge figure covering half of it. Anyone who approached would be mercilessly killed by it. Suddenly, a faint light appeared on the empty plaza. A world sea decree appeared on the plaza and was then taken away by a force. The world sea decree was originally carried by each heavenly venerate. Now that the decree had returned without the heavenly venerate, it meant this heavenly venerate had died. Gradually, people began to appear on the plaza, holding world sea decrees, with shocked expressions. When they realized they had returned, their faces showed expressions of wild joy. Some also had dejected looks, standing motionless. Everyone's emotions were different, but without exception, they had all narrowly escaped death, almost dying in that special space. If it weren't for relying on the World Sea Decree at the last moment, they wouldn't have been able to return at all. Only now did they realize that the special space wasn't just a bit dangerous, it was extremely dangerous. As time passed, more and more people returned, and more World Sea Decrees came back. They finally realized that being able to escape back was fortunate. Those whose World Sea Decrees returned alone had already died there. The path of cultivation is fraught with danger at every step, with danger and opportunity coexisting. All heavenly venerates knew this point. Dying halfway was a common occurrence. 2436, 2436. Chapter 2436. Killing oneself. Lin Moyu merged the laws of time and space, combining them into the power of time-space. Under the suppression of this special space, either space or time power alone would be restricted if used separately. Fortunately, after merging them together, although the effect of the time-space power was greatly reduced, it could still be used. The skeleton generals now also carried the power of time-space. Under Lin Moyu's will, they also used the time-space power to enter another layer of time-space. In an instant, the insects lost their targets and flew around chaotically in the void. A smile curved Lin Moyu's lips.
It worked as expected.
These insects had no souls, ignored attacks on the physical plane, and could accurately lock onto the skeleton generals. So the only way was to avoid their lock-on. Lin Moyu had thought of several methods, including using the bone hell to devour them, but their self-destruct power was too great. The bone hell probably couldn't withstand it. Finally, he decided to try using the power of time-space to avoid them, and it proved effective on the first attempt. The power of time-space allowed the skeleton generals to enter another layer of time-space, causing the insects to lose their targets. The insects flew around randomly in the void, passing through the bodies of the skeleton generals. Although they overlapped because they weren't in the same time-space, they essentially didn't collide.
The power of time-space is truly marvelous.
Lin Moyu manipulated the power of time-space, flying downward together with the skeleton generals. Without the insects obstructing them, their speed increased significantly. Lin Moyu remained vigilant. In this place, no one knew what might happen. After flying for a long distance, light finally appeared in their vision. Seeing the long-awaited dawn in the darkness, Lin Moyu sighed lightly.
We've finally reached the exit.
The light grew stronger, gradually filling their entire field of view. At the same time, the blue-green phosphorescence became increasingly dense, with the number of insects reaching its peak. In every inch of space here, there were dozens or hundreds of insects flying around. The number of insects in the entire space was incalculable. As they flew, the insects made no sound at all. Despite their wings clearly vibrating, it was eerily silent.
What is this?
In the area where the insects were most densely concentrated, Lin Moyu saw a stone. This stone was floating in the void, oval-shaped with a diameter of about 1 meter. It also emitted a blue-green light, even more vivid than the insects. Light points constantly flew out from this stone, turning into small insects.
So this is the source of the insects. No wonder the insects have no souls. They're just light points emitted from this stone. If the light points are already so powerful, how strong must this stone be?
Lin Moyu wanted to obtain this stone. He felt it was an extraordinary object. A skeleton general reached out its hand, passing right through the stone. Under the influence of the time-space power, the skeleton general couldn't touch the stone. Lin Moyu found himself in a dilemma. In the time-space power state, he couldn't obtain the stone. If he removed the time-space power, these insects would immediately swarm over and self-destruct. Although he had many skeleton generals, there were also countless insects here. Moreover, Lin Moyu wasn't sure if the insect's self-destruction would trigger other reactions from the stone. But if he gave up now, Lin Moyu felt somewhat reluctant. He knew the stone must be an extraordinary object. Even if it wasn't a powerful magical treasure, It was at least a heavenly venerate level material. Whatever it was, it would be excellent for summoning elemental liches. Lin Moyu calculated in his mind.
There are probably about 100 million insects here. If I use the skeleton generals to lure them away, I might have a chance.
Thinking of this, he immediately acted. Lin Moyu retreated from this area and released more skeleton generals. The skeleton generals densely filled the entire pit. Then Lin Moyu returned to the stone side and removed the time-space power from the skeleton generals. A light sound echoed through space as over 100 million skeleton generals simultaneously removed their time-space power and descended into the physical world. Countless insects, like wolves that had been starving for 3 days and nights suddenly smelling blood, frantically rushed towards the skeleton generals. Even at this moment, the insects maintained good formation. Each skeleton general was allocated one insect, with no crowding or fighting. Everyone got their share. After the self-destruct sounds began, they didn't stop. Countless skeleton generals were blown to pieces, with shattered white bones scattered throughout the pit. Seeing all the surrounding insects flying towards the skeleton generals, Lin Moyu steeled his heart and removed the time-space power, pressing his hand against the stone while frantically pouring his soul power into it. If it was a magical treasure, he would refine it. If it was a material, he would imprint his mark on it. Boom! A huge sound exploded in his ears, and Lin Moyu's whole body shook violently. A sense of rejection transmitted from the stone. It didn't like Lin Moyu's soul power. A special will burst forth from the stone, and Lin Moyu instantly knew what the stone was.
It's actually a spiritual material. The king of the world sea wasn't wrong. There really are spiritual materials here.
Lin Moyu hadn't expected to encounter a spiritual material so soon after entering. The spiritual materials he had searched for in vain before were now right in front of him. This material had very strong spirituality, as if it was about to develop intelligence. It strongly disliked being controlled by Lin Moyu and instinctively wanted to resist. The stone shook, scattering countless light points that turned into insects flying towards Lin Moyu. At this point, Lin Moyu couldn't possibly give up. The brocade lich appeared using great Tao protection. The undying golden body activated, with flames igniting all over his body. At the same time, his soul power surged wildly, accelerating the refinement process. Lin Moyu decided to face it head-on, to see who was faster. The insects landed on Lin Moyu and exploded violently. Lin Moyu let out a muffled groan, his body trembling. The enormous power passed through his body and fell onto every member of the undead army.
So that's how it works.
After personally experiencing the explosion, Lin Moyu finally understood how the insects attacked. The insects themselves had no attack power, but they could detonate their own laws. In other words, the skeleton generals were attacking themselves. Lin Moyu felt that just now, part of his own laws had been detonated by the insects, directly attacking himself. This type of attack was equivalent to self-harm. Most defense methods would be ineffective. The skeleton generals seemed to explode, but in reality, the explosive power was concentrated only on themselves, not affecting others. Moreover, the power was just enough to kill themselves.
The world is full of wonders.
Once he understood what was happening, he immediately thought of a countermeasure. Lin Moyu actively dispersed all his laws. For a moment, his body was completely empty, with only his blood chi still roaring, without a trace of law power. When the second insect landed on Lin Moyu and exploded with a bang. This time, Lin Moyu didn't move at all. He no longer had any laws for the insects to trigger. Once there were no laws, the insect's attack power was almost non-existent.
I didn't expect it to be so simple.
Lin Moyu intensified his efforts to refine the stone. The stone resisted more fiercely, but Lin Moyu held on tightly, not letting it escape. Finally, his soul power left an imprint on the stone, and this spiritual material became Lin Moyu's possession. The vibrations stopped, all light was retracted, and the insects no longer attacked. Streams of information flowed in, and Lin Moyu finally knew exactly what this stone was. 2437 2437. Chapter 2437. Are you coming to die? There are countless living beings in the world sea. Besides various schools of fish, there are also shrimp, crabs, insects, snakes, and all kinds of other creatures. Deep in the world sea, there is a special creature called the stone insect. Stone insects are extremely rare, only occasionally found in the world sea at depths exceeding 500,000 meters. Stone insects are very peculiar. After they die, they turn into a stone, which is their corpse. Then all their consciousness merges into their own corpse, waiting to be reborn with awareness, essentially reviving themselves. During this period, the stone is like a spiritual material. To protect themselves, stone insects scatter countless insects. These insects exist between the virtual and real, can ignore most attacks, and can trigger the enemy's own laws to attack. This is also a way for stone insects to protect themselves. Once successfully reborn, the stone insect can undergo a division, splitting into a new stone insect, turning one into two. It is through this cycle of death and rebirth that stone insects have managed to multiply and survive until now. Unfortunately, this time it encountered Lin Moyu, and after its death, it couldn't wait for rebirth. Lin Moyu obtained a spiritual material, placing it into his rule world. Lin Moyu brought the stone insect in front of Infinite Fusion, asking,
Do you want it?
Infinite Fusion had no reaction, seemingly in deep sleep. Lin Moyu pushed the stone closer, directly touching Infinite Fusion. A suction force appeared, and the sleeping Infinite Fusion firmly absorbed the stone insect. Watching the stone insect being sucked in, Lin Moyu chuckled.
Even asleep, it doesn't forget to eat.
He could feel that after absorbing the stone insect, Infinite Fusion's aura began to recover rapidly. At this rate, it wouldn't take long to recover, and might even become stronger than before.
It really does need spiritual materials.
Lin Moyu knew his guess wasn't wrong. Spiritual materials could indeed help Infinite Fusion recover its power and even strengthen it. Spiritual materials were its food, and it was very picky. Each time it ate, it needed something better than the last time. Now, even if given a low-grade spiritual material, it wouldn't eat it. Withdrawing his consciousness from the rule world, Lin Moyu saw that the pit was now empty, with no more blue-green insects. All he could hear was the sound of the waterfall pouring down. Lin Moyu looked towards the exit ahead. The waterfall rushed out from this exit, and Lin Moyu followed the trajectory of the waterfall, bursting out from the exit. The world changed from dark to bright, becoming clear. Lin Moyu found himself standing high in the sky. The waterfall fell tens of thousands of meters, like heavenly water crashing into a vast ocean. Below him was a vast expanse of water. Looking into the distance, the ocean seemed endless. In the ocean, he could faintly see some islands in the distance. The ocean surged, with waves crashing. When Lin Moyu saw the ocean, he realized it wasn't safe. The water flowing in the ocean was from the world sea, and from the depths of the world sea at that, which was extremely dangerous in itself. Not to mention that there might be other dangers lurking in the ocean. The waterfall flowed in from the world sea, and over so many years, some creatures must have been brought in. These creatures would not be easy to deal with.
This world is divided into many areas, and different areas should have different levels. If where we first entered was the outermost layer, then we should have entered one layer now.
Lin Moyu instinctively checked the marks on his body. Of the 5 marks he had left, only 2 remained now. Besides the lizard heavenly venerate he had killed, 2 other heavenly venerates had also died. Lin Moyu was about to resume his old job of sending skeleton generals to explore the space when suddenly he looked to the distance. In the distance, beyond his sight, he sensed strong auras approaching. Activating his undead vision, he saw 2 soul fires. From the intensity of the soul fires, he could tell they were both mid-level heavenly venerates. The soul fires were constantly colliding. The 2 mid-level heavenly venerates were fighting. Lin Moyu didn't want to get involved. No matter who was fighting, it had nothing to do with him whether they lived or died. He sent out over 10,000 skeleton generals, dispersing them in all directions. Lin Moyu didn't need to do anything. Just wait quietly. The skeleton generals planned to first explore the edges of the space, then enter the ocean to search for potential dangers. Lin Moyu didn't want to meddle in others' affairs, but one of the fighting heavenly venerates suddenly flew towards him, clearly having discovered him. Lin Moyu frowned but didn't leave. He wanted to see what the other party intended. They could fight all they wanted. As long as they didn't provoke him, he didn't care if they fought until the sky fell. But if they involved him, Lin Moyu wouldn't be polite. The two soul fires approached rapidly, and Lin Moyu finally saw clearly. The one in front was a demon, while the one chasing behind was actually a huge flying fish.
It's him.
The mid-level heavenly venerate demon belonged to the leopard clan. This clan wasn't slow, but obviously his speed was no match for the flying fish. Shaking it off seemed difficult. Looking at him, he was already injured in many places, and his aura was not as strong as at his peak. Lin Moyu remembered him. He had been very loud before, showing hostility towards humans. He was one of those who had placed a mark on Lin Moyu. At that time, this mid-level heavenly venerate demon had been imposing, his whole body radiating dazzling light, as if each hair was like an arrow, a deadly weapon. But now his fur was disheveled, much of it cut off, exposing his skin. Obviously, he was no match for the flying fish and was in a very sorry state. The flying fish was over 1,000 meters long, with 2 pairs of huge wings. The wings were as thin as cicada wings but extremely sharp, reflecting a metallic luster. The flying fish flapped its wings, launching attacks that cut space, leaving fissures. The leopard heavenly venerate let out a strange cry, immediately accelerating and changing direction, dodging the attacks. Lin Moyu was inwardly shocked. The flying fish's attacks were very powerful. This space was extremely solid, and it was difficult to create fissures. Clearly, this flying fish's attack power was top tier even among mid-level heavenly venerates. However, Lin Moyu also noticed that the flying fish had many wounds as well.
This flying fish, though its attack power is strong, its defense is average. It's just that its body is huge, so these injuries are just flesh wounds to it. Its attacks are too powerful. The leopard heavenly venerate can't block them, so he can't change his form and can only rely on agility to cope. Unfortunately, he's also outmatched in agility. It seems this guy is coming over to divert trouble to me.
Lin Moyu quickly analyzed the other party's intentions. Clearly, the other party was coming with ill intentions. Lin Moyu became vigilant. Heavenly venerates all had secret techniques. No heavenly venerate was truly easy to deal with. He couldn't be careless just because he had killed heavenly venerates before. When the leopard heavenly venerate saw Lin Moyu, he showed a look of joy, but more of cruelty.
It's actually you. I was just worried about not finding you, but I didn't expect you to deliver yourself.
Lin Moyu sneered.
I was looking for you too.
The leopard heavenly venerate laughed loudly.
Looking for me? Looking for me to die?
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
You'd better worry about yourself. You can barely protect yourself now.
The leopard heavenly venerate's face changed, and suddenly his whole body shone brilliantly as he let out an angry roar. Lin Moyu's rule world shook, and the world tree rustled, stabilizing the rule world. This roar contained an extremely strong soul impact, causing Lin Moyu to be momentarily dazed. Taking advantage of Lin Moyu's daze, the leopard heavenly venerate threw something at him. By the time Lin Moyu came to his senses, the object was already in front of his eyes. The flying fish that had been chasing the leopard heavenly venerate suddenly changed direction, charging towards Lin Moyu.
So this is his method of diverting trouble.
As soon as this thought arose, the leopard heavenly venerate let out another roar, impacting Lin Moyu's soul again. Although the daze only lasted for a moment, in the current situation, a moment's daze could be fatal. 2438, 2438. Chapter 2438. Really? No. The leopard heavenly venerate kept harassing, launching soul impacts at Lin Moyu again and again. This kind of attack was troublesome. Though not very powerful, it could make the soul fall into a momentary daze each time. In actual combat, it might not be very useful, but for harassment, its effect was quite strong. Even the battle-hardened Lin Moyu was annoyed for a moment. Killing intent rose in his heart.
You're asking for death.
Seeing the flying fish about to arrive, Lin Moyu inwardly roared angrily, and the brocade lich instantly appeared. The brocade lich grabbed the thing thrown by the leopard Heavenly Venerate, activated brocade night travel, and disappeared without a trace. The flying fish suddenly lost its target, pausing in midair for half a second before changing direction and continuing to chase after the leopard Heavenly Venerate. The leopard Heavenly Venerate was stunned, not understanding why the flying fish was chasing him again.
Something's wrong. Where's that thing?
The leopard Heavenly Venerate suddenly noticed that the thing he had thrown was gone. His gaze intertwined with Lin Moyu's in the void, and the leopard Heavenly Venerate's heart suddenly sank, realizing something was amiss.
This brat is up to something.
The leopard Heavenly Venerate was alarmed, guessing that Lin Moyu was behind it, but not knowing how he did it. The flying fish was now swooping towards him, its speed terrifyingly fast, and he had to flee for his life again. Lin Moyu naturally knew what was going on. After getting the thing, the brocade lich had activated brocade night travel and flown towards the leopard Heavenly Venerate. Though the flying fish couldn't see it, it could sense the location of the thing, so it naturally chased after it. Through the brocade lich's vision, Lin Moyu finally saw clearly what this thing was.
A fishbone.
His mouth twitched slightly. It was actually a fishbone with a special pattern on it, exactly the fishbone the World Sea King had asked them to find.
So he had obtained a fishbone, and the flying fish wasn't actually chasing the leopard Heavenly Venerate, but tracking the fishbone. Indeed, these fish bones aren't so easy to get.
After activating brocade night travel, the brocade lich's speed was extremely fast, quickly catching up to the leopard Heavenly Venerate. The leopard Heavenly Venerate was unaware of the brocade lich's arrival. The flying fish was tracking the fishbone, but to him it seemed to be chasing after himself. Lin Moyu's gaze turned cold.
Now it's my turn.
With a light tap of his finger, the bone hell appeared, enveloping the leopard Heavenly Venerate. The sudden appearance of a hell before his eyes made the leopard Heavenly Venerate's face change drastically. Then, the eye of the undead gazed over, and soul impacts fell upon the leopard Heavenly Venerate. The leopard Heavenly Venerate let out a miserable scream. His soul racked with waves of pain, and his speed suddenly slowed. The leopard Heavenly Venerate looked at Lin Moyu through the pain, his eyes filled with intense killing intent. Lin Moyu sneered.
I can use soul attacks too.
His whole body burst with brilliant light, transforming into a giant leopard that instantly tore apart the bone hell. Against a mid-level Heavenly Venerate, the supreme-level bone hell could only harass, far from enough to stop him. Lin Moyu hadn't expected to hurt him. The bone hell being torn apart was normal. This delay allowed the flying fish to get closer. The leopard Heavenly Venerate had no choice but to temporarily suppress his anger and continue fleeing. Lin Moyu's lips curled into a smile.
That was just the appetizer. Now it's time for the main course.
The bone hell was indeed just an appetizer. Besides delivering a soul impact, it was mainly to complete the marking. Snap! A crisp snap of fingers, and flames engulfed the heavens and earth. Over 100 skeleton kings appeared in the void, locking onto the leopard Heavenly Venerate and simultaneously raising their bone swords, their movements perfectly synchronized. The rule world appeared behind the skeleton kings, white bones everywhere, fierce and terrifying. Spell, White Bone God Slash. The leopard Heavenly Venerate suddenly felt danger descending and turned his head to see the skeleton kings standing in the void beside Lin Moyu. A full 100 low-level Heavenly Venerates, swinging their swords at him.
Not good.
The leopard Heavenly Venerate let out a strange cry, but sword light had already flashed on his body, his soul once again impacted. White Bone Laws rushed into his rule world, launching a fierce attack on his rule world. The attack drilled from the rule world into his soul, causing him unbearable pain. His body simultaneously endured 100 white bone god slashes, blasting holes all over. In an instant, flesh and blood flew everywhere, and countless drops of heavenly venerate blood rained down from the sky. The blood fell to the ground, boiling and burning like lava. A heavenly venerate's blood alone was enough to kill a supreme, but now it was flowing out as if it cost nothing. The brocade lich moved, quickly flying to the leopard heavenly venerate's wounds and stuffing the fish bone inside. Because his soul was under attack from the white bone laws, the leopard heavenly venerate didn't even notice the brocade lich's actions. By the time he struggled out of the intense pain, the flying fish had already arrived. The flying fish flapped its wings, slashing out countless attacks. Each attack shook space, creating countless fissures. Numerous laws were annihilated under the flying fish's attacks. The leopard heavenly venerate let out a strange cry and fled again, dragging his wounded body. He was truly scared now. Lin Moyu's methods were too bizarre. He felt that if he kept playing along, he would die. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly.
It's not over yet.
Buddhist chants rang out as the Buddhist lich flew forth. In the eternal Buddhist kingdom, 1,000,000 believers turned to ash, sacrificing themselves to the Buddha. Lin Moyu flicked out 10 drops of ancestral water, falling onto the Buddhist lich. The Buddhist lich's aura instantly surpassed Peak Supreme, stepping into the heavenly venerate realm. Spell: Fate's Great Tao. The Fate's Great Tao appeared, locking onto the leopard heavenly venerate's future fate. The leopard heavenly venerate's hair stood on end, feeling danger descending from the depths of his soul, even more dangerous than before.
What did he do? What did he do?
The leopard heavenly venerate roared inwardly, but with the flying fish chasing closely behind, he could do nothing, not even having time to look back. The Buddhist lich raised its fist, fusing the power of 1,000,000 believers and 10 drops of ancestral water, launching an attack through the Fate's Great Tao towards the future leopard heavenly venerate. Whether by coincidence or design, the Buddhist lich's attack timing was perfect, hitting the leopard heavenly venerate at his weakest moment. Lin Moyu vaguely saw the scene in the Fate's Great Tao. At some point in the future, the leopard heavenly venerate was severely injured, on the verge of death. Given time, with a mid-level heavenly venerate's abilities, he could still recover. Unfortunately, the Buddhist lich's fatal blow descended, completely extinguishing the leopard heavenly venerate's hope. One punch fell, and the leopard heavenly venerate in the Fate's Great Tao was shattered to pieces. The damage traveled along the Fate's Great Tao, descending upon the present in an incomprehensible manner. The fleeing leopard heavenly venerate suddenly let out a miserable scream, countless wounds bursting open on his body, blood raining down like a downpour. His soul was also severely injured. Some of the wounds on his body were caused by the soul injury. This was the terror of void power. One didn't even know where the attack came from, killing enemies invisibly. His vision darkened, nearly fainting on the spot, his whole body falling from the sky. At this moment, another burst of pain came as the flying fish's attack arrived. Its wings sliced through the leopard heavenly venerate's body like sharp blades, cutting him in two. Blood mixed with internal organs fell from the wound, along with the fishbone. The flying fish immediately turned, no longer paying attention to the leopard heavenly venerate, directly chasing after the fishbone. Half of the leopard heavenly venerate's body crashed down from the sky, landing on an island. His physical body and soul were both severely injured, on the verge of death. Lin Moyu came before him, expressionless, looking down at him from above.
You're about to die. Pity, I don't even know your name. Do you have any last words you want me to take back? I'll give you this chance.
The leopard heavenly venerate seemed to know his fate as well, his voice trembling.
Really? No.
Lin Moyu's cold voice shattered his last hope as the skeleton kings simultaneously raised their bone swords, not only killing the person but also crushing their spirit. 2439, 2439. Chapter 2439. Not planning to let any of them go. The leopard heavenly venerates half-body, along with his soul, was chopped into paste, truly scattered to ashes. Lin Moyu collected the other half of the body, turning it into his weapon. The leopard heavenly venerate also had a storage treasure, a bracelet, which wasn't damaged in the attack. Lin Moyu took that as well, planning to examine its contents later. The ocean exploded with a roar, raising a 10,000-meter water column. The brocade lich burst out of the ocean holding the fish bone. With the flying fish in hot pursuit, countless attacks sweeping across the sky. The brocade lich held the fishbone, wrapped in the Great Tao, activating Great Tao protection to barely withstand the flying fish's attacks. But it couldn't hold out for long. Earlier, when the fishbone fell, Lin Moyu had the brocade lich chase after it, getting to it before the flying fish could. Having finally found a fishbone, how could he easily give it up? This time, Lin Moyu chose to take everything. Not just the fishbone, he wasn't planning to let the flying fish go either. He had his own considerations. That high-level heavenly venerate from the human race harbored killing intent towards him. If they encountered each other, it wouldn't be easy to deal with. Before that, he needed to make more preparations. The corpse of a mid-level heavenly venerate would naturally be the best weapon. The brocade lich was in a somewhat sorry state under the flying fish's pursuit. The difference in strength between them was too great. Even with Great Tao protection, it could only hold out for a short while. Lin Moyu snapped his fingers, unleashing a sea of fire. From the sea of fire, 400 skeleton kings emerged simultaneously, like a terrifying army. Adding to the 100 skeleton kings from before, this was the first time Lin Moyu had summoned all 500 skeleton kings. The more skeleton kings there were, the stronger they became as they amplified each other. 500 skeleton kings could increase their combat power by at least twofold, almost reaching the limit of low-level heavenly venerates. Although still some distance from mid-level heavenly venerates, when quality wasn't enough, quantity would have to make up for it. Appearing alongside the skeleton kings was Kujun.
Strike!
Lin Moyu's mind moved, and 100 skeleton kings raised their swords simultaneously, locking onto the flying fish. Spell: White Bone God Slash. The rule world appeared, white bones transforming into countless sharp blades, slashing out a terrifying strike. The sword light exploded on the flying fish, blasting off large chunks of flesh. At the same time, its soul was attacked by the white bone laws, dense wounds appearing on its body, many scales bursting. Even its wings developed spider web-like cracks. The flying fish screamed incessantly, turning its head to look at Lin Moyu. Its eyes were filled with bloodthirst, but in the next second, it still continued chasing after the brocade lich. Although it had been attacked, it still prioritized the fishbone. This scene made Lin Moyu wonder, was the fishbone really that important? The World Sea King needed the fishbone, and even the flying fish valued it so highly. What use did this fishbone have? What secrets did it hold inside? Though curious in his heart, the skeleton king's swords didn't stop. Another 100 skeleton kings raised their swords, slashing down again with another 100 simultaneous white bone god slashes. The flying fish screamed again, letting out a sharp cry. This time the wound was even more severe than before. A huge gash appeared on its body, blood gushing out frantically, dyeing the ocean red. The flying fish looked over angrily, its eyes bloodshot, its killing intent even stronger than before. Lin Moyu could see it was hesitating, unsure whether to continue chasing the fishbone or turn back to kill him. The brocade lich kept its distance with the fishbone, always maintaining a certain distance from Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu vaguely felt like he was back in a game fighting a boss. This fighting style was similar to the kiting tactics he used before, attracting aggro from two sides, making the boss unsure which to focus on. The flying fish turned again, once more locking onto the fishbone. Just as it turned, the third batch of skeleton kings raised their bone swords. Suddenly, the flying fish's wings vibrated intensely, its speed reaching the extreme in an instant. It appeared above Lin Moyu as if teleporting, its wings vibrating, attacks falling like raindrops. Space cracked in many places, the attacks like sharp blades cutting through heaven and earth. The island Lin Moyu was on was instantly cut to pieces, sinking with a rumble. Countless dust particles rose to the sky. The Skeleton Kings used their swords as shields, blocking in front of Lin Moyu, charging towards the flying fish. Kujun stood in front of Lin Moyu, blocking most of the attacks for him. As a revived one, Kujun didn't fear death or injury. His body developed countless wounds under the attacks, but no blood flowed from them.
This attack is truly strong. Not bad, not bad. With you, many things will be easier to handle.
Lin Moyu's eyes brightened. In terms of pure attack power, the flying fish's attacks were top tier among mid-level heavenly venerates. Even peak supremes might not be able to withstand its attacks. Although its attack method was simple, the most crucial point was that it was practical. Especially after becoming a revived one, its attacks would become even more powerful. An attacker with powerful strikes who didn't fear death, one could imagine how terrifying that would be. The Skeleton Kings had already reached the flying fish, 500 Skeleton Kings surrounding it completely. The flying fish attacked frantically, slashing out countless invisible blades. The Skeleton Kings couldn't block them at all suffering injuries. For a moment, white bones rained down. The Skeleton King's bones were cut apart, becoming incomplete. However, this didn't affect the Skeleton King's combat power. As long as they could still wield their swords, the Skeleton King's fighting strength wouldn't be diminished. Sword light exploded frantically, wound after wound appearing on the flying fish's body. White bone god slashes fell on the flying fish again and again, carrying white bone laws, attacking both flesh and soul simultaneously. Kujun also joined the battle. As a mid-level heavenly venerate, his attack power surpassed the Skeleton Kings. He alone was worth dozens of Skeleton Kings. With Kujun's containment, the pressure on the Skeleton Kings was obviously reduced. The flying fish was deeply trapped in the encirclement, seemingly unable to break free. But Lin Moyu felt it still wasn't secure enough. He snapped his fingers again, and the Dragon Rider Legion entered the battle. 100 billion dragon riders forming 1,000 legions filled the sky, surrounding the flying fish in countless layers. The flying fish was completely trapped in the encirclement, with no possibility of breaking free. Under the Legion commander's orders, the Dragon Rider Legion continuously launched charging attacks against the flying fish, ramming it and making it scream incessantly. The death dragon breath spewed out, roasting the flying fish. Whether it was effective or not, the main point was harassment. The white bone battle formation was deployed, white bone laws gathering into a sea, instantly turning the world into a realm of white bones. Endless attacks continuously eroded the flying fish's vitality. Finally, after more than 10 minutes, the flying fish's life came to an end, forcibly ground to death by Lin Moyu's human wave tactics.
This is like ants eating an elephant.
Lin Moyu said with a smile, flicking out the undying flame. Origin level spell. Resurrection of the dead. The just deceased flying fish was immediately revived in the flames. Its aura was even stronger than when it was alive, almost touching the realm of high-level heavenly venerate. The flying fish's attack ability was extremely strong, though its defense was weak. Lin Moyu felt that after becoming a revived one, its attack power could now threaten even high-level heavenly venerates. Moreover, it would self-destruct before dying. The power of its self-destruction was probably difficult even for high-level heavenly venerates to withstand. Lin Moyu put away the undead army and leapt onto the flying fish. With such a powerful fighter, his actions in this special space would be much more convenient. 2440. Chapter 2440. The Home of the Flying Fish, Origin Crystals. The skeleton generals were still exploring this space. This space was obviously larger than the previous one, so the exploration would take some time. The brocade lich brought the fish bone back and handed it to Lin Moyu. The fish bone felt warm to the touch, like top-quality jade. Just by touching it, one could feel its extraordinary nature. The fish bone had a beautiful pattern on it, which looked like a rune but wasn't exactly a rune. Lin Moyu had never seen this pattern before. From the pattern, he felt a mysterious and powerful force. This force was like a law, but not exactly a law. Its existence surpassed Lin Moyu's understanding. Lin Moyu could feel its grandeur and power, but he couldn't truly touch it.
This is not my power. I shouldn't covet it.
Lin Moyu felt a sense of awe. The king of the world sea dared to let them search for the fish bones and wasn't afraid of them keeping the bones for themselves. So he must have a way to control them. Facing someone who might be more terrifying than an ordinary Dao Venerate, Lin Moyu didn't dare to gamble. Standing on the flying fish, Lin Moyu asked softly,
Are there any other fish bones here?
The flying fish wasn't very intelligent. Although it was powerful, it only had some simple instincts. It seemed to not quite understand Lin Moyu's question and looked very confused. Lin Moyu waved the fish bone in front of the flying fish.
Are there more?
This time, the flying fish seemed to understand. It first shook its head, then nodded. Shaking its head and then nodding, did it mean yes or no? After asking a few more questions, the answers were still ambiguous. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and roughly understood the flying fish's meaning. There were no more fish bones in this space, but there were more in other places. Just as Lin Moyu was inquiring, a skeleton general suddenly lost contact. The skeleton general wasn't dead. It had just lost contact. Lin Moyu immediately rushed to the location where the skeleton general lost contact. He stood on the flying fish, letting it carry him. Soon, he arrived at the location and saw a slightly distorted space. Through the space laws, Lin Moyu could roughly sense that this space had formed a passage leading elsewhere.
There must be a powerful force that divided this special space into many small spaces. These small spaces are not completely disconnected but are linked together in some special way. And the fish bones the king of the world sea is looking for are distributed among these spaces.
Lin Moyu wanted to go through, but he knew that once he went through, he might not be able to return. So before going through, he needed to search this space thoroughly to see if there was anything he might have missed. He wasn't in a hurry. The king of the world sea hadn't set a time limit. More skeleton generals flew out, conducting a carpet search of the entire space. They didn't miss a single island. The skeleton generals even entered the ocean to search. The ocean was made of water from the world sea, and it came from a depth of 1,000,000 meters, containing immense power. The skeleton generals couldn't last more than 10 seconds before shattering. Lin Moyu had to summon the skeleton kings to replace the skeleton generals for the search. They searched inch by inch, almost digging 3 feet into the ground. Soon, a skeleton king found a cave at the bottom of the ocean. The cave started from the seabed and was deep and long. Lin Moyu had the flying fish take him into the ocean. The undying golden body was fully activated, turning Lin Moyu into a fiery figure, resisting the impact. The impact of the world's seawater was too strong. The undying golden body couldn't hold out for long. The most troublesome part was that the impact of the world's seawater seemed to contain some special rules, ignoring damage transfer and connection. All the impact couldn't be transferred to the undead army and had to be borne by Lin Moyu alone. Lin Moyu released the revived thornfish. The peak supreme level thornfish only lasted 5 seconds before exploding. The world's seawater didn't care that they were fish. The result of insufficient strength was death. Arriving at the cave entrance, Lin Moyu didn't enter. Just by looking, he knew that the cave belonged to the flying fish beneath him. Lin Moyu imagined the whole process. The flying fish usually lived in the cave, guarding the fish bone until it was taken away. Lin Moyu asked,
Is this your home?
This time, the flying fish seemed to understand and nodded vigorously. Lin Moyu asked again,
Is there anything else inside?
The flying fish nodded again, then shook its head. It seemed there were things inside, but nothing important. Lin Moyu asked,
Are there any other fish besides you here?
This time, the flying fish seemed to understand and only shook its head. Lin Moyu said,
Go inside and bring everything out.
He had the flying fish fetch the items while he left the ocean. The undying golden body had reached its limit. Staying any longer would cause it to shatter. Lin Moyu stood in mid-air, watching the surging ocean.
This won't work. If other spaces also have such oceans, I won't be able to explore them. It seems I need to get more revived beings like the flying fish to replace the skeleton generals for exploration.
Lin Moyu thought to himself and had an idea. In the future, whenever he encountered fish like heavenly venerates here, he would try to kill them and turn them into revived beings. Moments later, the flying fish flew out of the ocean, opened its mouth, and spat out everything it had brought from its home. Several familiar auras hit Lin Moyu's face, and his eyes lit up.
Origin crystals.
Among the items the flying fish brought back were several origin crystals, and they weren't low-grade. They were all 4th-grade origin crystals, more than 10 in total. This was an unexpected surprise. He hadn't expected to find origin crystals here.
The king of the world sea was right. Besides fish bones, there are other treasures in this special space. And these treasures can be kept for personal use.
It seemed that in the eyes of the flying fish, only the fish bones were the most precious. Other things, including the origin crystals, were of no use to it. Lin Moyu collected the origin crystals and examined the remaining items, finding nothing of value or use to him.
Let's go.
Having searched the space thoroughly, Lin Moyu stood on the flying fish and headed towards the passage. After a brief teleportation, Lin Moyu found himself in another ocean, with the previously lost skeleton general not far away. This space was similar to the previous one, also composed of an ocean and islands. The water sparkled, and the sea surged. Though the world looked the same, Lin Moyu felt a difference. In this ocean, there were more than one living being. The eye of the undead scanned the area, revealing many soul fires. These soul fires were scattered throughout the ocean, numbering at least in the millions. These soul fires weren't very strong, only at the low-level heavenly venerate level, slightly stronger than the skeleton generals but not as strong as the Dragon Rider Legion or the Skeleton Kings. Lin Moyu's gaze swept through the void and saw a group of soul fires gathered in the distance, seemingly doing something. Lin Moyu immediately had the Brocade Lich go ahead to investigate. The Brocade Lich moved swiftly and silently, arriving there quickly. Through the Brocade Lich's vision, Lin Moyu finally saw what was happening, and his expression changed slightly.
Let's go.
He instructed the flying fish to move immediately. 2441 2441. Chapter 2441. 2 dead mid-level celestial sovereigns. On an island, 2 disfigured corpses lay on the ground. Blood stained the island, and the blood of the celestial sovereigns, containing immense power, carved out large blood paths on the island, flowing towards the ocean. Countless small fish, each the size of a fist and with 2 legs, were gnawing at the corpses. Their teeth were extremely sharp, tearing off pieces of flesh with each bite. Although they didn't eat quickly, if the 2 corpses could still feel, this would undoubtedly be the most terrifying punishment. Lin Moyu saw this scene through the eyes of the brocade-clad witch and immediately rushed over. The flying fish, carrying the powerful pressure of a mid-level celestial sovereign, swept down, scaring the 2-legged fish away in a panic.
Humans and demons.
Although the 2 corpses were disfigured, their identities could still be discerned. One was a human celestial sovereign, and the other was a demon celestial sovereign. Judging from the aura left by the corpses, both were mid-level celestial sovereigns. The flying fish scared away the 2-legged fish, and Lin Moyu descended from the sky, flicking out a ball of undying flame that landed on the demon celestial sovereign's corpse. Original level spell. Resurrection of the dead. The flesh on the corpse quickly regenerated, and the dispersed soul began to reassemble according to some rule. In the blink of an eye, the demon celestial sovereign was resurrected, kneeling respectfully before Lin Moyu. From his appearance, he seemed to be a celestial sovereign of the Grey Wolf lineage among the demons. Lin Moyu asked,
What is your name? Explain what happened before you died here.
The demon celestial sovereign immediately responded.
My name is Han Feng. I discovered traces of fish bones and origin crystals here, along with a human celestial sovereign. We fought over the fish bones and origin crystals, resulting in mutual destruction, and we both died here.
Lin Moyu found this strange. When mid-level celestial sovereigns fight, they may get injured, but killing each other is not easy. If one side is losing, they would definitely escape. If their strengths are similar, they would likely stop at the right moment. Only mortal enemies would fight to the death. Moreover, they would rather die in battle than use the Realm C token. Lin Moyu felt something was off. He flicked out the undying flame again, resurrecting the human celestial sovereign. The human celestial sovereign was named Exin, and his description was similar to Han Feng's. Lin Moyu asked,
What were you both thinking at that time?
Both replied in unison.
We just wanted to kill each other.
The uniformity of their answers made Lin Moyu feel even more uneasy. He realized that something might have influenced their minds and emotions, turning their fight into a death match, resulting in mutual destruction. The most crucial point was that their memories stopped at the moment they were severely injured. They didn't even know who killed them. Lin Moyu asked,
Where is the fish bone you found?
Both pointed in the same direction.
Over there, on an island.
Lin Moyu looked in the direction they pointed and saw the island. It wasn't far, and it was larger than the other islands. On the island, there was a small mountain, and at the top, a fish bone stood upright like a sword, clearly visible. According to their descriptions, there were also many origin crystals beside the fish bone. These were not low-level origin crystals but 4th and 5th level origin crystals. Lin Moyu looked at the fish bone, frowning slightly, sensing something was wrong. He sent a skeleton general to retrieve the fishbone while he watched from a distance. The skeleton general quickly approached, but when it was a kilometer away from the island, an invisible force descended, impacting the skeleton general's soul. The skeleton general, seemingly unaffected, continued flying towards the fishbone. However, Lin Moyu felt this invisible force which could influence one's mind. He guessed that this was why Exin and Han Feng fought to the death, influenced by this invisible force. The force was subtle, and if not for his keen senses, he might not have detected it. Unfortunately, the skeleton general had no thoughts of its own, so its soul was not affected. Lin Moyu murmured,
Deception is ineffective. Let's see how you respond.
When the skeleton general was only 100 meters away, it suddenly couldn't get any closer, as if blocked by a force. The fish bone then lit up, causing a spatial ripple, and the skeleton general was shattered with a bang. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised. When the fish bone lit up, the pattern on it was very conspicuous, and a mysterious and powerful force burst out, leaving the skeleton general defenseless. The flying fish had instinctively valued the fishbone but couldn't utilize its power. However, the unknown entity here could.
We have trouble.
Lin Moyu quickly pondered his next move and asked,
How did you two get here?
They explained their arrival. Han Feng found a stone, and after breaking it, he arrived here. Exin entered a lake, found a vortex, and came here through it. They hadn't found a way forward yet. Lin Moyu temporarily set aside the fishbone and sent the skeleton general to find any passage to other spaces. Meanwhile, he targeted the two-legged fish, thinking of finding creatures to explore the ocean. These two-legged fish seemed suitable, not very strong but able to survive in this ocean. Importantly, there were enough of them to replace the skeleton general. Lin Moyu summoned the skeleton king and had Kajun, Exin, and Han Feng hunt the two-legged fish together. He aimed to create an army of resurrected two-legged fish. He instructed them to avoid the island with the fishbone for now. A large-scale hunt began in this space. The two-legged fish were numerous but scattered, unable to resist the skeleton king's slaughter. Under the bone sword, the two-legged fish were quickly killed, and their bodies brought back to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu found that the two-legged fish were not very powerful and had a single attack method, spitting the two sharp teeth in their mouths like arrows. After spitting out the teeth, they could immediately grow new ones, seemingly endless. The teeth were quite powerful, comparable to low-level celestial sovereigns. A skeleton general would be killed in 2 hits. However, no matter how they resisted, they couldn't withstand the attacks of the Skeleton King and the 3 mid-level celestial sovereigns. Lin Moyu ignited a blazing flame, turning the 2-legged fish into resurrected beings under his command. Although they lacked intelligence, it didn't matter as long as they could follow orders. The resurrected 2-legged fish were released again, forming groups to attack other 2-legged fish. A self-slaughter feast of the 2-legged fish began. 2442.